if you ask me, they didn't like Nimmo. Stearns doesn't like Nimmo, doesn't play good defense anymore, has really declined in that department, even offensively last year. Like, better than Semien, without question, younger than Semien, but, wasn't great with runners in scoring position, as the whole team wasn't, and had real stretches of poor play, and then he had weeks and months of playing excellent baseball. And being the right there cog right in the middle of the lineup when they moved him up to second, right after that he kind of took off for a while. I think he is a interesting player that I had no problem moving. I thought the core had to be broken up. Again, I am not opposed to this trade. I don't think it's a bad trade. I think, and I know, the sports radio host in me thinks I got to come on and turn on the mic and say it's fantastic or it's awful. Like, that's what we do here, but it's a wait and see on what this trade is. That's how I feel about it. And I don't think it's unreasonable to at least take a second and look at it in a vacuum just for a second. And in a vacuum, I don't love it. Just one for one. Are they better today or worse today? I think they're worse today. It put them in a position, at least in their minds, and I think it's fair, and I do agree with it. It puts them in a position where getting better has now become easier. I think that's fair. Now they got to go do it, and I'm curious to see how they're going to go do it. But to me, the immediate scream to Bellinger or Tucker isn't necessarily how I see it. One, because I thought we were talking about Bellinger already. Like, he could have played center field for the Mets. Like, Bellinger was a guy. I did a whole thing on how the Yankees can't allow Bellinger to sign with the Mets. I've always considered them in play for Bellinger. So I don't know how much more this makes it likely to go get Bellinger. Now you need two outfielders. They got to bring in at least an outfielder here and see what they do in center. If they want to play Taylor, if they want to give Benja an actual chance to be your starting center fielder. I think this is about Pete. I think you couldn't have both Nimmo and Pete on this team, at least in their minds. You could be looking at needing to DH Nimmo and Pete by next year in significant amounts. And you've got now long-term deals to two players like that who are bad defensively and just don't fit the kind of player that Stearns wants. So when I look at this deal, and the more I was thinking about it, because I even tweeted out my initial reaction to don't love it, love the player for player swap. Then we all understood that it's a process. Even then, I was like, I guess it opens them up for Bellinger and Tucker. But the more I think about it, that was already on the table. This is more about probably being comfortable giving that fifth year to Pete. I think that's what this is probably mostly about. That Stearns has been told, we're signing Pete. We're going to figure it out. And Stearns was like, well, if we're going to do that, I can't have Nimmo on this team. And was probably looking to move Nimmo anyway. And the first chance he got, and again, you also had to find a place that he was willing to go take the no-trade clause to go play. Apparently he talked to his buddy DeGrom. It is a little bit further west. He's from the West. A lot of his thought process is probably similar to Jacob DeGrom, and we all thought Jacob DeGrom wanted out of New York. I don't think Nimmo wanted out of New York, but I think the lifestyle in Texas is something that appeals to him, plus no state income tax, so he's making more money now. So you had to find a place he was willing to go. You had to find a team willing to take on his contract, and you had to improve yourself defensively. So they checked all the boxes for what they needed to move him, and this is about improving defensively and making the infield better defensively to allow Pete Alonso to fit in better, to be able to pay him longer than you wanted, to make that all more palatable. To me, if they don't sign Pete now, I'm very confused. This is almost, to me, a lock. Pete Alonso's coming back. Even if you are mad at this trade, if it ensures bringing back Pete Alonso, it's a little bit less of a pill to swallow, knowing that this is what made Pete Alonso possible. I think if you'd rather have Pete or Nimmo, I don't think there's a question. You'd rather have Pete Alonso.